Right, this is case number 1. You guys have been doing this, so we're going to show you on a design sheet how I would do it. Now, from a sketching point of view, you should sketch out the teeth that are missing so I'd rather hash them out. I'm trying to get this in the shot. So we've got a missing 5, 6 on this side, and on the other side we've got missing 4 and 5. So if you hash them out like that, it shows as missing. If you do a cross on a tooth, it implies it's an immediate addition, so extraction. So if you do that, that looks like a tooth's going to be extracted. So just hash them out, and then outline the saddles. Now draw a big enough flange that you can actually show the technician where the clasp is going to come from. So that's where you start. Hashed out teeth, 2 saddles. The first thing you need to do is support. And I think we're doing supports in red. So you should do each saddle individually. So we're going to do a saddle on this side to support this saddle. Now, cingulum rest on the canine can come in from the side. It doesn't need to be from the palatal extension. So you support one saddle. Got another saddle up here, so we can do exactly the same here. Occlusal rest on the premolar and occlusal rest on the molar. So you've supported all your saddles before you go to the next stage. Next stage, you need some retention on this. Now, if you've got a short span saddle, you've got the option of clasping anteriorly or posteriorly. Now, on the patient's left side, you've got undercuts on the canine and on the molar. So you could clasp either or both. So for argument's sake, let's clasp the molar as well. Now, as soon as you clasp a tooth, you should know by now, you put reciprocation on. You can decide if it's plate or arm afterwards, but draw a line on the inside of the tooth to show you understand the significance of reciprocation. So I potentially put a clasp on this tooth just for completion. If the patient didn't like it and you've clasped the molar, you can then dispense with that one. Now this is reciprocated by the action of this cingulum rest, so it doesn't matter. You don't need a separate reciprocation. That's big enough to counter the action of the clasp. Same on this side. And interestingly, if we look at the molar here, this is a dreadful impression and we've got no buccal detail at all. So send the impression back to the dentist, retake the impression. But in this case, we're not going to put a clasp on there because you've got no detail. By the book, you'd send that back and ask for another impression. So now we've got support everywhere. We just need to reciprocate both these teeth, and you can see the canine is reciprocated. Let's make that a bit bigger just for clarity. So both these gingerly approaching clasps are reciprocated by the action of the clasp on the wing on the palatal aspect. All we've got to do now is join it up. Now, gingerly free, so you can bring the denture base down here and you can bring it, spread some load across the palate and come back up here. So the option here, everybody seems to like making ring connectors, so we can come down here, denture base can come back, bring the denture base away from the gingival tissues and bring it in there. Now, if you want to do a ring connector here, you can because it's not a free end saddle. Now in the real world, if you were going to clasp this upper molar here, which you might do, if the clasps are less visible, you could do that, but then you'd need some reciprocation, plate or arm. In this case, you can't see the size of the tooth, but the premolar there, you could put an arm as a reciprocation, and certainly the molar tooth here, you've got plenty of height, so that could be arm reciprocation as well. So that's your denture base, and that's what it would look like. All you've got to do then is just shade in the metalwork to show that's what the denture base looks like. So to check your design at the end, you check you've got the saddle supported at both ends, as is this one. You've got clasp on both these teeth, which are visible. That's the only downside. And if the patient didn't like this clasp, you could omit that and use the molar clasp at the back there. So that's the Kennedy Class 3 case upper partial denture.